The food pyramid is such a scam.
I know. Everyone knows the aliens built them.
Josh, those are the Egyptian pyramids, not the food pyramid.
Aliens said I need 2 cups of pudding a day to be a healthy boy. This is a hot dog as a sandwich.
Ketchup is a smoothie.
Yeah, I put ice in my cereal, so what?
That makes no sense.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
Welcome to our podcast, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich, the show we break down the world's biggest food debates. I'm your host, Josh Scher.
And I'm your host, Nicole.
And welcome. If you've made it this far, you're at the official Ancient Aliens episode of A Hot Dog is a Sandwich.
Ancient Aliens?
Isn't that what the show is called?
ATL Aliens. Not throw your hands in the...
Was that an album? But no.
I don't want to get sued by Outkast, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, ATL Aliens is also a great dubstep producer. But that is not what we're talking about today. We are talking about... I have to take a deep breath before this because this is going to get so deep in the weeds.
I have to take a deep breath all the time.
That's because you're Pergonet.
Yeah.
But we are talking all about the food pyramid today.
Right.
And answering the question, is it a scam? Which, like, we all kind of know, yeah.
It has been debunked, and it is... If something is debunked, does that mean it was a scam?
It also depends what you mean by scam and whom was trying to scam, because I feel like most people that I talk to about the food pyramid, and this actually happened recently at a dinner.
You talked about the food pyramid recently at a dinner?
I really did, yeah, with a bunch of other YouTube creators. They were talking about the food pyramid.
No way.
But all of them, it actually ended up a little bit of a contentious conversation because all of them believed it was a scam in the sense that the food pyramid was influencing you to eat, quote, too many carbs and not enough meat. Which,
Yes.
if you actually look at the government lobbying efforts, it's the opposite. The government lobbying efforts, in everything I'm saying today is basically paraphrased from Marion Nestle's fantastic book, Food Politics.
Yes, you talk about that book quite a bit.
It's a really informative book. Check out the work of Marion Nestle. Food Politics, it's quite dense. It's not like an easy, breezy beach read. I did read it on the beach recently. But she like really gets into the weeds, and it's really important to understand how this stuff functions. But the main lobbying efforts in the food pyramid were to get you to eat more meat and actually eat more dairy. It was the dairy and the meat lobby, specifically the Cattlemen's Association, the beef lobby, to get the food pyramid to advise you to eat more meat. What is your impression of the food pyramid, and what was wrong with it?
Now that I
Sure,
like,
now, yeah.
I agree with those food tubers that you were talking to. I mean, the fact that the grains is at the bottom, which is like the foundational part of the pyramid, it's 6 to 11 servings is what I'm looking at right now.
Yes.
The thought of consuming 11 servings of carbs now?
What's a serving?
Exactly.
Well, but that's that's one of the big problems with the messaging. Is like, what the hell is a serving?
I remember that meat, poultry, fish was always the size of a deck of cards.
Yeah.
That's something that I always learned. Anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces was a serving of meat.
That is
false?
Not a serving of meat, 6 to 8 ounces. So the original recommendation of a serving of meat was supposed to be 4 to 6 ounces.
Oh,
and then
what?
through the lobbying efforts of the Cattlemen's Association, they changed it to 5 to 7. And again, like, changing that took years. Yeah.
Okay, and what's a serving of grains?
God, well,
slice of
this
bread?
gets funky. A serving of grains, of which 6 to 11 should immediately raise some red flags.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Because it's like, you could have 6 or you could have completely double that. Whatever, that works. That's kind of crazy. So a serving of grains is, when it comes to bread, quote unquote, a slice of bread. If you have ever seen a bread, slices can be different size.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So these are all sort of guidelines.
But Texas toast equals 2 slices of bread.
But not even Texas toast, right? We have we keep sandwich items stocked in the Mythical offices.
Yeah.
There's one brand called like Nature's Own or something. It's that like thick, pillowy white bread.
Yeah.
It's not Texas toast. It's like a normal loaf of bread.
Right.
But one of those slices of bread has something like 60% more calories.
Are you kidding?
Than another one, because you just don't notice, but it's like a little bit wider, it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit less fluffy.
Fine.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that slice of bread is going to be different. And then bread aside, if you're like getting like a nice whole grain loaf and you slice it yourself, what are you supposed to measure, right?
Yeah.
Very difficult. But in that 6 to 11 servings like idea, if you were to take normal sandwich bread, right, and have 3 sandwiches throughout the day, it's like not that many carbs.
That's a lot of sandwiches.
3 sandwiches, but that's 3 meals.
People eat 3 sandwiches a day?
If you were to eat 6 slices of that bread a day, each of those slices of bread is probably like 90 calories.
Sure.
Right? That's not very many calories.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty reasonable. But people see 6 to 11 servings and they think, oh, I'm supposed to be eating 11 bowls of pasta. No. If you took like the average serving size, God, what is it? A half cup of cooked pasta is a serving size.
That's sad.
Which one, measuring a cup of orzo versus a cup of rigatoni?
Sure, yeah.
That cup of orzo is going to have 4 times the amount of calories because there's less air.
Exactly.
And so none of it makes sense. None of it is like weighed in, well, actually some of the servings are weighed in ounces and then some are volumetric measurements, which makes no sense. And then even a half cup of cooked rice, if you were to take a half cup of steamed rice versus a half cup of rice congee, or even a half cup of rice that is cooked Persian style, where there's more air in between the grains because you fluff it, those are all going to read completely differently.
Fair. Okay. Yes.
But
so it's a guideline. It's not. It's
a
not.
guideline. It's a guideline.
You know, and for people that haven't seen maybe the USDA food pyramid, maybe it'd be helpful if we kind of broke it down.
Well, the USDA food pyramid, as we are talking about, it's the one that we grew up on.
That's what we're talking about.
And I think the one that most of you knew and loved.
Right. So it was fats, oils, and sweets at the tip top of the pyramid, which means use sparingly.
Yes, the top of the pyramid, the most important.
I mean, it's not a pyramid unless it has the tip, right?
No, I know, but I'm saying
What
that
shape
that
would it
was
be?
even
a quadrilateral. Ugh.
well, the shape. So there was a world in which the pyramid shape never existed. But describe the pyramid to him. I'll tell you all
What
about
are
it.
you talking about?
I'll tell you about it. Mary Nestle, dude, she says she's awesome. We love you. Come on the show.
And then we have meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dried beans, and nuts, 2 to 3 servings in the top center of the pyramid. Milk, yogurt, and cheese, 2 to 3 servings, also at the top of the pyramid. And then towards the middle bottom, you have fruits, 2 to 4 servings, vegetables, 3 to 5 servings. And then at the bottom, the foundational part that I was talking about, the base, if you will, is bread, cereal, rice, pasta, 6 to 11 servings.
Yeah.
And that's what we were raised on. And still to this day, even though we've had iterations with the other pyramids, which we'll talk about, and the MyPlates, this still kind of rings true. This isn't necessarily my diet right now, because my diet's a little bit different than my typical diet, because I had to reintroduce carbs into my body. Because carbs are good for your brain and for development for the child, which I found out.
Carbs are good for you, flat out.
Period.
Carbs is food. Your body breaks everything down to glucose.
Yes. And also when I'm looking at this, like the fruits and the vegetables that they have listed in this photo, they have things like bananas and corn, which your body kind of metabolizes into carbs, like sugar and carbs anyways, right?
Your body I cannot stress this enough. Your body metabolizes everything.
Not
into
everything.
Carbs, unless you are in ketosis.
Okay, yeah. Fair,
which
fair.
was meant to help epileptic children.
Correct.
Go on.
Correct. But yeah, like all of these things like become carbs anyways, which is like important.
Yeah, your body literally runs
Needs
off
carbs.
of carbs.
Unless you're in ketosis.
The history of the world is just that of grain. Right now, every single era that has kind of ever existed, at least let's say like since World War II, but even before that, there have always been weird dietary fads.
Sure.
The food pyramid happened to come out during a time, and these dietary fads are always somewhat based on data, right?
Yeah.
There's some data, and nutritional data is so hard because you can't isolate variables. You can't just like follow people's exact diets that you are observing perfectly. Anybody who takes part in a nutritional study just lies about what they eat. It's just human nature. And if you were to do directly observed studies, you like can't do them for more than like 2 weeks. Because you can't just hold somebody in a room with a camera on them for like 20 years.
Yeah, but you can there's you can like take photos of the food, tell them to take photos of the food, maybe have a chaperone.
Sure.
Why not?
But even then, like you are getting somewhat skewed results. And even if it's like good data that is usable, how that gets interpreted ends up getting a little bit fudgy.
Okay.
And so the food pyramid that we know and love, the USDA food guide pyramid, they called it, came out in 1992. It was started in 1980, and it took 12 years of intragovernmental bickering and research and data to eventually get there. That coincides with the low-fat diet craze, right?
That explains.
Which coincided with data of like, hey, increasing animal fats really leads to heart disease.
Yeah.
Which is true, but then we knew more about saturated fats and non-saturated fats. And so you end up with like red meat, like, fats, oils, and sweets used sparingly. That's the phrase we all grew up on. That doesn't differentiate between like Crisco and like extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah. Because when
You know?
I see this, it's like if I were me, if I was 32 years old in 1992, gosh, what an image that is. Like the milk, yogurt, and cheese, I would automatically purchase fat-free items.
Yeah, 100%.
Automatically. And then my meat, poultry, and fish would all be like boneless, skinless chicken breasts
Yeah.
and like a very, very lean piece of steak.
But then if you look at the bread, cereal, rice, and pasta, the fact that it says cereal, they mean cereal like
grain.
cereal grains,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And even looking at a cereal like puffed rice, where the only ingredient is puffed rice, right? That's one thing. But then you see cereal and you think Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Naturally, as a consumer and as an adult in the 90s, yes, I would think that.
100%. And so part of the lobbying on the grain, the big commodity crops, was to try and lump in these ultra refined products with
They had the
whole
lobbying
grains.
power. Okay, yeah.
And even speaking of the lobby, we need to kind of go back to the origin of how the food pyramid started.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
The Swedish lady, right?
Anna-Britt Ungsatter. It was, yeah. And the idea of a food pyramid started in Sweden in 1974. But it kind of just reflected like the changing global needs around nutrition, right? Because all of the nutritional information before World War II was like, we need people to eat more food so they can do manual labor, right? That was almost the entirety of nutrition.
Right.
Like there were literally doctors were writing prescription for like malted chocolate milk in the 1920s to like fatten up children.
What do I got to do to get a prescription for that? Because I love malted chocolate milk.
And they would literally like measure children's health based on like how ruddy their cheeks were.
Honestly, I feel like my mom told me a story when she was in Iran because she was very thin. My mom was like skinny. She went to a nutritionist and I think that they recommended she drink like gallons of goat milk.
Yeah,
and like
yeah, that was it.
gallons
That
of
was
milk
it.
to like fatten her up because they're like, you're way too skinny. You're never going to get married.
That was literally the history of nutrition was
Maggie, don't be sad. That's how it used to be back in the day. It's better now.
But it's like actually like a snapshot, right? It's the history of the world. It's like we need to figure out how to feed people more to fatten them up. And then after World War II, there's a massive industrialization shift,
Yes.
especially with meat and dairy
Yes.
and production of grains to feed the troops. And then from that like 1950s until the 1970s, we had, an era where, oh gosh, our nutritional problems are now that we're eating too much.
Right.
And so enter the food pyramid is in this really weird time where we're like, we need to tell people to eat less. Okay, but how do we structure what people are eating? Let's figure it out. So what?
Having 11 servings of something does not equate like eating less. Though.
You are absolutely correct. And thus we find the problem because there were two agencies that could have taken hold of the food pyramid. One is the U.S. Department of Agriculture, whose
USDA.
entire job, the USDA, is to get people to buy more agriculture grown in America.
Right.
Right. And it's a really important agency, and agriculture is a really important industry to America. The other agency is Health and Human Services, whose entire job
What's
is
that
to
acronym? Or
HHS.
I don't think I've ever heard of HHS.
HHS? I think RFK Jr. is the head of it now.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so they're actually about to put out brand new guidelines for 2025, which are going to be very interesting to see.
I wonder what that's going to look like.
I don't know if they're going to get rid of MyPlate or whatever, but
Do you think we're all going to have cheese hands?
I
You
don't
saw
know,
that?
man.
You saw that guy on the internet that ate so much cheese and bacon that he started secreting orange liquids out of his
Ew,
hand?
no, is that real?
Maggie, please Google keto cheese hands. This is for research. This is for science.
At some point, I ate so much Costco salmon that I started smelling like fish, and our roommates had to get me.
That's
to
probably
stop.
why your skin's orange.
I think so, man.
Yeah, man's hands filled with cholesterol.
These are real news sources.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
eating 6 to
God.
9 pounds of butter.
Oh, that's too much butter.
Oh, too much
Speaking
butter.
of butter, though, so one of the predecessors to the food pyramid was like post World War II. Or maybe it was mid, but it was just called the 7 food groups. And
I've
it was
never
like-
heard of this before.
The 7 food groups was just like a wheel. And again, this was World War II. So it was like, how do we get people to eat more so they can build airplanes to stop Mussolini? and butter was just an entirely separate category. Like
Is
they had
butter a carb?
literally
No.
they had like cheese and yogurt and milk, and
Fattening
then
people
it was
up.
just like butter and margarine. You gotta eat both.
Oh my God, just fattening people up so they can work longer? This is sick.
And so it's Health and Human Services' job to keep the population healthy and, in theory, keep spending on healthcare down. Doesn't always happen that way. And then USDA's job to get people to eat more. And then they put the agencies together and said, oh, you two keys.
Keys, no
You two
keys.
keys.
I love when they keys.
Figure it out. And basically, the USDA kind of ended up being given control of the food pyramid.
Right.
And this is a way that American politics functions, where you basically have a head of the USDA who will then retire and then go become the head of the beef lobby. And then the head of the beef lobby will retire and become the head of the USDA, which is exactly...
Is this trickle-down economics?
No, that is not what trickle-down economics is. This is America's very unique relationship to lobbying. And if we took any public servant in politics and banned them from joining any lobby group for 10 years, I think we would have a much better, more equitable country. But I digress. Mary
Vote
Nessel
for Josh.
made the same claim in this. So anyways, that is
Vote for
exactly what we
Josh
saw,
is a vote for Nicole and Maggie.
where we had a beef lobbyist be the head of the USDA. And so basically you have the USDA trying to just get people to eat more products that we grow.
Yeah.
The most profitable ones being cows in commodity crops.
Right.
And so they ended up, having a lot of those up there. And then eventually, you have the dairy lobby who was saying, well, we don't like our positioning in relation to sweets. And so they had to make all these concessions. Originally, the square for meat was colored red, and the meat lobbies didn't like that because they said reds looked like a warning. And so literally...
God. So it used to be color-coded?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, there's just so many different stories of how this pyramid gets messed up over the course of 12 years, including my favorite, which is somebody said, hey, the pyramid is too hierarchical. We don't like this. We should make this more accurate to how people eat. And they created a bowl. And so the bowl had sectors in it that were not stacked on top of each other.
When
that
was the
roughly
bowl
reflected
introduced?
the bowl was never introduced. The
Oh, it
bowl
was just
got
an
shot
idea.
down.
Okay, the bowl was an idea.
But it was almost basically a coin flip between the bowl and the pyramid. And then the pyramid ended up winning out. And so eventually, there's even a story of
So crazy.
the pyramid was meant to go to printers, but they were out of ink. And then the day later, a beef lobbyist stepped in and was like, if you do this, we riot. And then so many incredible stories. The Washington Post ran a story that one random group, it was a random physicians group that was not a big public funded group at all, but they sent in a single letter to the USDA and was like, hey, what if we made it vegetarian, huh? Because we don't really need meat. And then,
That's where
God,
the
I think it
beans-
was Malcolm Gladwell actually wrote a story for the Washington Post about their physicians group recommends fully vegetarian diet, and then that made so many headlines and got blown out of proportion that the beef lobby flips out. The point is, it's very, very, very complicated.
It sounds very
And
complicated.
it was on every school classroom's wall for 13 years, the precise 13 years that you and I were in school.
Right. And then we got MyPyramid.
And then they said, get out of here.
I always remember. I remember MyPlate the most, which we'll talk about at the end.
I do not remember MyPlate at all.
When I went to culinary school,
That makes sense.
we had to take a nutrition class. Why? I couldn't tell you. It was for-profit education. Sure. And they taught us about the MyPlate. But I want to talk about the MyPyramid. The MyPyramid was, first of all, beautiful. The color coding on this one, I love. Also, there's a little man or woman walking upstairs to imply that you need to also move your body.
So MyPyramid was in 2005, right?
Yeah, that was in 2005. And then it's just a little person just walking up the steps saying maintain balance between food and physical activity, which I kind of love. I don't know. I think it's cute.
So it's really, really interesting. So MyPyramid in 2005, 13 years after the original food guide pyramid, it changed servings to measurements, right?
But not a consensus of measurements, because
Correct.
for grains and for meat it's ounces. But vegetables, fruits, and milk are in cups. And I think it's because Americans, I'm sorry, are like dumb. And like, because they go to the meat counter and they say, let me get 5 ounces of this. I would say a quarter pound, right?
I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Also, what is this Chinese food pagoda I'm seeing?
I'm so
here?
glad you asked. So a couple
that?
criticisms of the food pyramid. One, the hierarchical nature of the pyramid blocks stacked on top of each other. The next pyramid, what they did is they are very, very thin triangles emanating from the top of the triangle, which makes no sense. This should be a pie graph, right? To show like an actual representation.
Okay.
And then they switched it from servings, 6 to 11, never made sense. They say 6 ounces of grains. Is that cooked? Is that raw? Unclear. My favorite is milk, where you also just see slices of cheese. 3 cups. How do you get 3 cups of Kraft singles?
Oh, if there's a will, there's a way.
Like, none of this makes any sense. And then some of the other criticisms are that, like, hey, America is a very multicultural place.
Right.
This doesn't necessarily fit into all diets. Like, why are we saying that milk is a necessary part of the human diet when, like, countries like China, the largest country on earth, doesn't have, like,
Lots
never
of
really
lactose
developed
intolerant people. Yeah.
And so they introduced the Chinese food guide pagoda, which I believe is actually used in China.
Oh, no way.
At least recently adopted.
I have never, ever seen this before. The only time I saw a pagoda was in Japan, by the way.
That's so funny. Which in that, they say, like, there's still a section for dairy, but that soy is included in there.
I can see right here, there's a little block of tofu.
And then there's also a link to the original USDA food guide pyramid, which was originally supposed to be called the Eating Right Pyramid. But then Kraft had, like, a brand of low-fat products out there called Eating Right. And Kraft threatened to sue on copyright infringement. Not only that, this is my favorite part.
Yes, they did. Okay.
This is my favorite part. Kraft's competitors threatened to sue because then that would have given Kraft an advantage. So meanwhile, if they called it Eating Right,
I want to rip my freaking hair
Kraft's
out.
competitors were like, no, that benefits Kraft. And then Kraft was like, you can't name it that because we have that. And so everybody's fighting. And meanwhile, the only nutritional advice is just eat more fruits and vegetables and be moderate. That's been it. Nicole, that's been it.
But
That's been the only nutrition.
But moderate's good.
That's what I'm saying. Moderate and eat fruits and vegetables.
Good.
Like, eat less meat. Maintain a healthy caloric balance. Move well, which we see on the MyPyramid. You have a giant kaiju character climbing the pyramid like King Kong in the Empire State.
You can tell that there's motion because there's one arm in front of the other, and one leg is going up a stair.
But part of the whole people should be moving a lot more, and I think the government's had
agree with that.
Had some like pretty good programs. Was it the Play 60? You know, getting
Jump rope
kids,
for heart.
Yeah, all that stuff is great, but putting that on the food pyramid is like a very deliberate marketing ploy. It was McDonald's giving out step counters, right?
Oh my God, I remember my McDonald's step counter.
And the step counters were burning kids' wrists. You got to look up the story. It's incredible.
My step counter was one that you would put on your pants.
Oh, from McDonald's?
From McDonald's, and it was red.
Oh, because they initially had wrist ones, and the batteries were overheating and burning
Really?
children.
I remember I would shake it like this. And it's like, hey, look how much I want.
But that was literally McDonald's saying like, hey, it's not our fault. You should just be moving more. And so that's sort of where this is going.
That's what America's about,
I mean?
baby. You got freedom of choice.
Actually, yes. And so there we have MyPyramid. And then this was phased out in what, 2012?
2011.
2011. Talk
Yeah.
about MyPlate.
So MyPlate was actually really beautifully constructed, in my opinion. It was a flat plate with a little side cup, because everyone eats like that, right? And a fork.
I love the side cup.
And the best part about this is that there's no numbers, right? It's all, as someone who appreciates visual aids, this was actually really good for me. We never actually got percentages. We were never given ounces, cups, anything like that. It was just a visual representation of what you should have. And from what I'm looking at, your plate should be in 4 quadrants, not equal quadrants though. So the largest quadrant would be vegetables. When I'm looking at this, it gives me about 40% vegetables. And then, am I bad? Am I bad at this?
No, I don't know. I've always just been fascinated. So when you look at MyPlate, it almost looks like they're in quartiles, like cut into like a pizza cut into 4 slices.
But like a screwed up pizza.
But I can't tell how much Like, is vegetables 40% or is that like
Yeah.
30%?
So let me tell you. So vegetables are 40% of the plate, and then grains are 35% of the plate. How much is that together?
You're at 75%, Nicole.
Already?
You got 25%
I'm already.
left.
Oh my god. and then 10% fruits, and then 20% protein, and then dairy's on the side just for kicks.
Well, dairy's on the side because it's not a necessary part of human health, but we have a lot of people who make their money in America based on dairy.
I'm so
and we have
stupid.
cheese caves filled with millions of tons of cheese.
Do you want to know why I'm so stupid? I literally do you remember how you said like the dairy implies dessert? Literally looking at this MyPlate organization, the dairy looks like a little side of like pudding.
I know. I always imagine like a little sidecar of yogurt that someone's eating.
Oh my god, like a little vanilla
Like
yogurt
I'm having
on the
like
side?
a steak, some penne pasta, little side of strawberries inexplicably next to the pasta, and then some broccoli, and then a little yogurt parfait on the side.
Exactly.
I think it's supposed to be a cup of milk. Like you're drinking
a
a glass.
cup?
I think it's.
My stupid ass.
It can be anything, but the idea is eat dairy with every meal, or else the U.S. dairy lobby is going to get pissed.
Did you grow up drinking like milk with like a sandwich?
Oh my god, constantly.
No, that's
like
so crazy.
a ham
to
and
me.
cheese sandwich with mayonnaise on white bread with an ice cold glass of skim milk.
You know who you sound like right now? One of the Full House characters. I remember very vividly that a Full House character ate that exact thing. I never
can
grew
still
up doing
taste like the mustard being washed down with milk.
that. Oh my god! Do
You know?
miss it?
A little bit. It's a nostalgic.
When's the
feeling.
last time you like chugged dairy
Actually,
out of a can?
pretty recently.
I love. There's something really good about just drinking milk straight out of the carton.
There are some people who are like, my body, like bodies aren't meant to run on lactose, and I'm like, mine was. My ancestors,
I love milk.
we were locked up in Northern Europe. You know, a cow was dying. Like you got to drink its milk for your own sustenance.
Ferment the kefir.
Ferment the kefir. You know, my body really does process dairy very well.
Josh, I want to do an experiment with you.
What's that?
So in front of us we have a whiteboard.
I see that.
And I thought it would be fun if we decided to create a food pyramid that works for us, and maybe we can share with the rest of the world.
Oh gosh.
Now, this might take a second, Maggie. I'm just going to shut up for about 5 minutes while I draw this, okay? Don't cheat off of my paper. Jerk. Okay. Are you ready to see my food pyramid?
Show me that food pyramid, Nicole.
So my food pyramid isn't based off of foods. It's based off of food preparations. So Americans don't consume enough steamed or boiled foods. And I think that's screwed up. So at the bottom, the most servings of I'd say 6 servings, whatever that means to you, of steamed foods. Let it be vegetables, let it be meats, let it be rice, let it be whatever you want. Steamed at the bottom, okay? And then after that, you have seared. You can sear your vegetables, you can sear your proteins, you can sear yada, yada, yada. Sear your bread, I don't care. Sear
I
your
think
pancakes.
it's called a toast.
No, I'm talking about cooking with oil.
Ah, okay.
This is about steaming,
so
which
like
is
a British fried bread.
exactly fried up. I don't care. Live your life. After that, it's baked / air fried. Because who doesn't have an air fryer nowadays? I don't, but I'm just special.
I should. They really do work very well.
And then baked, I would say 2 to 3 servings, and then fried like in deep oil. We're talking about like frying food, like a fried shrimp, coconut shrimp situation. 1 serving.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and like design my meal based on Nicole's new preparation based, not food based pyramid.
But doesn't it make sense? Because Americans
Absolutely not. None of this makes sense. I know.
course
I
it
see
makes
where you're
sense.
coming from. But in theory,
rude.
this
It
could
makes-
just all be different kinds of rice. You could just have steamed rice, and then you could have like a nice like pan-seared crispy rice. You could do like
but no one
fried
would do that.
rice,
But no one would
a
do
nice
that.
baked tachine.
But no one would
You
do
know?
that. You would have to be realistic.
Well, no, but I'm being serious though. This is the exact conundrum with creating a food pyramid, right?
This is okay.
You're
Fine.
never going to create anything that is going to like one, satisfy anybody in their interests, or 2, like be able to fully accurately represent a healthy diet without then like very intuitive knowledge from people.
Okay, hear me out.
So you get people looking at the
What if I
USDA
put
food pyramid.
pictures?
You get people looking at the USDA food pyramid, right? And being like, so I can just have 11 bowls of cereal?
Well, no,
It's like, no, you should have intuitive knowledge passed down from generations.
Yes,
That's stupid. And this is just a guideline. And people should be eating
Get off
grains.
your soapbox for
and
a
they
second.
should be eating small portions of meat. And they should be eating vegetables.
Wait,
it's not there for you to
listen.
like find weird loopholes. What's up?
Listen. So imagine, I'm not much of an artiste, I'm not a Picasso over here. Imagine there was like a picture of like an apple for the steam, like steamed apples.
What the hell? Why? Where's raw? Where's raw in this?
Oh, you know
Where's
what?
raw?
Here, because I care about you. Here, raw will be here.
Fantastic. Now I'm the poison control center, Nicole, and I've gotten 1,500 calls about people eating raw chicken breast.
Veggies / fruit, excluding meat and dairy. Is that better? This makes sense to me. Can I tell you why?
People who have never before deep fried food in their homes saw this on the pyramid, thought it was necessary, didn't turn the oil off on their stove, and now their homes are on fire.
It needs some tweaking. I didn't say it was perfect. I said it's a guideline. If you could rate this, what would you give this?
I give this a 1 out of 10.
You're so ugly.
No, I think this is a genuinely important exercise, though. Like,
But you don't think teaching people proper food preparations
oh my God, 100%.
is helpful in health and wellness?
Yes, but I think a pyramid is the worst way to represent.
Okay, freaking make it a square. What do you want from me?
You sound like the HHS and USDA for 12 years. It's a bowl now.
Okay, what do you
now
want?
it's a plate.
Okay, now what do you
Where's the dairy on the plate? It's like a moon orbiting the plate on the side. I don't know.
Okay, what are you gonna do? Make an inverted
Tampico's
cross?
like, we're gonna invade a Central American country unless you put like blue juice as a fruit.
I want to see your artwork if you have it in you.
I'm not gonna
Come
draw
on, indulge me.
a pyramid. I don't want to do it.
It doesn't need to be a pyramid.
I'll draw a food pyramid.
It doesn't need to be a pyramid. It can be another shape.
I'll draw a food pyramid here. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. This has been the only dietary advice post-World War II that actually holds up and is verified by science. I understand you have people there who are eating carnivore and claims that it has cured literally all their diseases. I understand you have people who are eating, completely vegan and say that that has cured all their diseases. At the end of the day, it's not that difficult. I know it's difficult to cook. It's difficult to have the institutional knowledge to know how to eat food. I know fresh produce is more expensive than anything in terms of a calorie basis. I know it's very easy to buy convenience foods, but eat food, not too much, mostly plants. Go out there, get some whole grains, cook it up, get some whole muscle cuts of lean meat, cook a fresh vegetable you've never cooked. Hell, not even fresh vegetable. Frozen vegetables are very, very good, right? Frozen vegetables are as nutritious as fresh vegetables. Like, it's very, very simple. And I actually have a lot of empathy for all of the people, very well-intentioned dietitians and farmers and nutritionists and public servants who created the food pyramid, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's so difficult, as you saw with your, steam to fried pyramid.
It's a good idea. It just needs it needs a few think tanks and about $100 million behind it, and it can work.
But it's so difficult, especially in the face of all these companies trying to make money off of it. So my heart goes out to all the people who did that. But ultimately, the food pyramid, yeah, it was a weird lobbying scam, and I hope we end up in a better place in the future.
If you're planning a trip this summer, imagine how much more meaningful your experience could be if you could speak the local language. Ordering a coffee, asking for directions, or just having a friendly chat. It all hits different when you can connect in someone else's native tongue. That's where Rosetta Stone comes in. Rosetta Stone has been the trusted leader in language learning for over 30 years. Their immersive, intuitive method helps you naturally absorb and retain your new language on desktop or mobile, whenever and wherever it fits your summer schedule. What really stands out to me is how Rosetta Stone teaches without relying on English translations. You start thinking in the new language, not just translating in your own head. And their true accent technology gives real-time feedback on your pronunciation. It's like having a personal coach right there with you. If you know me, you know I'm always on my phone. So using the interface on my personal device, like my cell phone, was so simple, it made the whole process super, super seamless. Whether you're learning for a trip or just challenging yourself this summer, it actually feels fun and effective. Don't wait. Unlock your language learning potential now. A Hot Dog is a Sandwich listeners can grab Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. That's unlimited access to 25 language courses for life. Visit rosettastone.com/hotdog to get started and claim your 50% off today. Don't miss out. Go to rosettastone.com/hotdog and start learning today.
Well, alrighty there, Nicole. Now you say, well, alrighty there, Josh.
Well, right there, Josh.
That felt weird. I didn't like that.
You told me to say it.
I know. No, I know. Now, listen, we've heard what you and I have to say. Now it's time to find out what other wacky ideas are rattling out there in the universe. It's time for the segment we call
Opinions on a Casserole.
Oh, that's right, Nicole. Let's get to that first opinion.
We have fun here.
We do have fun.
We do have so much.
Hey guys, my name is Garrett from Spokane.
Hi, Garrett
I have
from
a question
Spokane.
for you all. Lately, my wife and I have been trying to add more veggies to our toddler's diet. 3-year-old. She hates eating pretty much anything but chicken nuggets, and I did it to myself. Anyway, and I'm just trying to find ways to hide veggies into things. Veggies and beans, and maybe beans and sauces, veggies and sauces, things I can do to try to incorporate that without it imparting too much vegginess to my daughter, you know?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Also, I heard you like tofu. What do you think? How do you make tofu taste like meat? I heard freeze it. What do you think?
You don't gotta make tofu taste like meat. You just gotta make it taste like delicious stuff. But I do want to say, seems like a good dad.
I
like
liked
that.
his vocal fries at some point.
I liked your vocal fry too.
I like his vocal fry. You always say make the meat taste bad and the veggies taste good, which is something
Yeah.
I think is a great kick. You can kick it off.
Well,
if you'd like.
yeah, that's my like long-term psyop on
Yes.
children.
Yes.
But that has to be done from a young age. And like you've said, they've already experienced the joys of chicken nuggets. My idea is like, what if we turned all cauliflower and tofu into nuggets and just served children boiled, unsalted meat? And thus condition them to love vegetables and hate meat, but then also probably just conditioning them to love fried things and hate boiled things. So I wouldn't actually
If you were to
recommend
look at
that.
my food pyramid, that wouldn't happen.
Dang it, she was right. No, as far as like veggies that you can sneak into foods, stuff like a mac and cheese, every kid loves, right? Boil cauliflower, blend that into a cheese sauce.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, you could do onion, carrot, and cauliflower, and you can even throw in some white beans in there. I don't know why chicken nuggets. I thought it'd be fun if you made like cool, funky sauces. Like, what if you made a barbecue sauce with you just take like store-bought barbecue sauce, and then you take a beet and you just like blend the beet in the barbecue sauce, virtually undetectable.
Blend the beet in there. Stuff like tofu chili.
Tofu, yeah. I thought about I don't know why carrot sauce came to mind. You can make like a carrot applesauce and dip it in there. Be fun.
You know,
There's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options. Beans,
Beans are great.
black bean brownies. Listen, they taste pretty good. I like them. I just like Asian bean desserts.
This is your thing. You just love beans and desserts.
I love beans and desserts.
You've always loved beans and desserts. Remember we had Jaya days ago?
Oh, we did. We had we had a they called it a fava bean. So jia, I'm mispronouncing it horribly, but it's a like Vietnamese type of like kind of porridge based dessert, various like tubers and beans, even corn.
Right.
Cooked like a little bit sweet, but not cloyingly sweet, and then like salted coconut milk on it. But we had just like a black-eyed pea porridge
There were
dessert.
black-eyed peas in there, and I'm like, ooh.
I love dessert beans. So make some dessert beans. Make some bean cookies. No, there have to be like easier ways. What foods do kids love? Nuggets, pizza. I mean, pizza, great way to get vegetables in there,
I
man.
don't know. It depends. There's some kids that are really picky, and there's some kids that are not very picky.
Cauli crust pizza. Blend some like carrot, celery,
my God.
onion into a sauce.
I went to my niece's house the other day, and she was eating avocado and plum puree and a little broccoli cheddar chicken like patty. And she loved it. She's like 8 months old. She was eating
See?
it all.
I don't know if this is a good recommendation because I don't know how much your child loves chile verde. But like when I was a kid, I would love any sort of like braised meat in like a somewhat not even spicy, just like a kind of acidic, flavorful green sauce. But like if you just blend a bunch of spinach in there,
Yeah, sure.
it's kind of green and fun, unless your kid doesn't like green foods. But that's a good idea.
I think kids should eat green foods. I think you put it in front of them and say, eat it.
Yeah,
Right?
it's probably easier said than done. You're a lot closer to
Yeah,
it than I
but
am.
she's not going to talk for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to deal with that for a minute. But I think, I don't know, it's how do you raise a non-picky eater? I think you put a bunch of foods in front of them and keep putting a bunch of foods in front of them. Even foods they don't like.
I'm not going to pretend
Even
to
foods that
know.
they reject.
Hot carrot hot dog. You roast a big old
Ew,
carrot.
no, don't do
put
that.
it in a bun.
Don't do that.
I like it. I like it a lot. Good luck. Godspeed.
You've got this.
Hey, I wanted to like share this knowledge with everybody in the entire world. If you take a white sweet potato and you bake it and you put dark chocolate chips in it, it is hands down one of the best things I've ever tasted in my entire life.
Yeah,
so
it
don't
is.
knock it until you try it.
I'm not knocking it, but honey, I'm going to try it. And that sounds so good. I love chocolate chips in places I wouldn't expect them.
What's the
I
least?
love a rogue chocolate chip.
What's the least expected place you've ever had a chocolate chip?
You don't want to know?
Sounds like a newlywed game question.
You don't want to know. That sounds really good. And I love sweet potato as a dessert. One time I took a sweet potato and I mashed it all up inside of the skin and then I added vanilla sugar to it and then I bruleed it and it was the best thing I've ever had.
I did that recently. We had, for some reason, just like,
A lot of sweet potato.
no, you know what it was? We were making candied yams for someone's last meal. I think it was Sierra. And for some reason, one of the yams that we got, red garnet yam, was actually a white sweet potato. And so we had a baked white sweet potato, and Lily was just like, does anybody want this? And I was like, hell yes. And it was baked to the point where like so much steam had evaporated, so it was nice and fudgy.
Jammy.
Jammy sweet potato. And I put a little bit of Nielsen Massey vanilla paste in there, a little bit of salt and honey. Oh, so good.
So good.
So good. I think garnet yams do better than white sweet potatoes, though.
I like white sweet potatoes.
Either way, eat potatoes for dessert, man.
Yum. I
Yummo.
love sweet potatoes.
Love a potato.
I always have sweet potatoes at my house.
I should be eating more sweet potatoes. That was part of my New Year's resolution, is to eat more potato.
You ever eat purple sweet potato?
Yeah, they're not my favorite.
Me too.
They're a little too starchy.
I agree.
Not sweet. That's what I love about
I
garnet
had a
yams.
stringy one the other day. Ruined my day. Ruined it.
Ugh, ruined it.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Sorry. Acid reflux.
Yo, Josh, yo, Nicole. This is Taylor from Fresno. I'm going to say it. Bone marrow is one of the most overrated restaurant foods. I've had it on multiple occasions in fancy restaurants, less fancy restaurants, and every time
I will not stand for this.
it's essentially just like putting butter on some crostinis or some kind of other toasted bread. Let me know your thoughts.
I get this.
Okay. If I could eat bone marrow every day, I think I would.
Really?
If I did, I feel like I would die from high cholesterol. But I love the way it tastes, and I think it's delicious, and I don't think it's a commonly utilized part of the animal.
Yeah.
So I love it. My family loves it. Sounds delicious.
I feel like bone marrow is kind of in the same restaurant era as pork belly, where you start to see more like pork belly on menus.
Okay.
And bone marrow, when done really well, I remember the restaurant Animal. It's the first time they had these big roasted bone marrow bones with like grilled bread and like a lemony parsley salad. And you combine all that together, and that is just one of the best bites of food that I can remember, right? However, places that weren't as good at cooking, you'd go get bone marrow and they roasted it so hard that all the bone marrow leaked out, and you just end up with an empty bone, and like,
and all of the fats on the silpat mat left in the kitchen. Yep.
Yeah, and like I didn't know how to send it back. You know what I mean? And so a lot of bad bone marrow has been served, and I've had a lot of like terrible pork belly at restaurants.
Yeah,
where it's not butchered properly. It's just a hunk of fat.
Yeah, at restaurants it's a little bit hit or miss, but whenever I make bone marrow at home, I put it in my stews a lot. Honey, you ever had stewed bone marrow gourmet sabzi?
No, but I would love to try it.
You would love to try. Okay.
Yeah, you raise a good point though.
Hi, Nicole, Maggie, and Josh, and any TAs that might be listening. So I had a question, or maybe a episode suggestion for you all.
Ooh.
I converted to vegetarianism about a year ago, but I'm having a hard time getting enough protein, and I would like to start using protein powder, but I and just have no idea where to start. So could you guys recommend some of the best protein powders to use? Thanks.
Yes.
What do you got?
I remember Tara's Whey being very popular, but do they still have their vegan stuff?
Well, I don't think. I mean, they might be down for whey protein. They didn't specify vegan. They said they're vegetarian.
Vegetarian. Tara's Whey is great, but if you are looking for a vegan one, vegan protein. I remember I used to take this protein powder in particular, and I loved it. Organic protein. You can get it from anywhere. Really love that one. And then also Garden of Life. Garden of Life and Orgain are vegan, but if you want a really good whey protein, Tara's Whey is really, really finely milled, and it tastes pretty good.
I've been using the same whey protein for I think 15 years. It was the Costco brand way back in the day. Still might be there, but now I get it online. It's Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey. The macronutrients on it are good, but moreover, when I mix it with my yogurt, it creates the perfect pudding consistency. And ditto with when I blend it with frozen blueberries. So anytime I change whey proteins, some of them have too many thickeners in it, and they make my protein just a sludge that I can't drink, my shake.
Sure.
Or they just turn my yogurt into a glue.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't know, Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey. I've run through every single flavor they have. Don't go for the crazy ones. If you want chocolate, do the chocolate malt. That's great. If you want vanilla, go for vanilla ice cream, they call it, or something. But I've been using that one for forever. It's pretty affordable on a per serving basis because you have to buy it. You buy it in 10-pound jugs.
I know some people have been using unflavored whey protein and vegan protein to beef up their pasta dishes or
Really?
beef up their chilies and stuff. Yeah.
That's crazy work, man.
I'm into it. No, I mean, listen, whenever you aren't getting enough nutrients,
Sure.
if you can find a way to do it in a way that still tastes good, I support it.
Yeah, I mean, I do that with non-fat Greek yogurt. And I would normally eat full fat, but if I want full fat, I'll get Lebna or something. So in my house, I'll have non-fat Greek yogurt, which I basically use as a supplement.
Right.
Because there's 20 grams of protein per 130 calories or something. And then I'll have Lebna if I actually want to make a delicious sort of herby creamy sauce to dip my homemade kebab in.
Underrated. If you ever find Lebna in a store, just buy it and eat it.
The intersection between cream cheese and yogurt, it's just Lebna with cucumber, dill.
Oh, no, I don't even like it like that. I just like it straight up with a spoon.
You know what one of the best combinations I've ever had is? Lebna with a little float, smoked olive oil.
Oh, smoked olive oil.
Smoked olive oil and Lebna. It gives you
yums.
almost like a bagel and lox vibes because you get that smoke off.
Stop.
Bro!
I
Grilled
love Lebna.
bread,
I love
flaky
Lebna.
salt, Lebna, Arbequina smoked olive oil.
Arbequina?
Arbequina. That's the one brand of smoked olive oil that I can
I
tell
was like,
you.
where's that?
I have
Take
no
me to
idea.
Arbequina.
I had it at a restaurant. They served it with a fish crudo, and it was just it's a good ass dish, man.
Arbequina.
Was that helpful? Us talking about?
It's a variety of olive.
And they have a smoked one.
Josh, I'm salivating.
I know, same.
What's wrong with you?
We need to get out here and start filling up our food pyramids. I just recently Googled other countries' food pyramids. Belgium has something called the inverted food triangle.
Oh my God, I was gonna say inverted. Yeah, I was gonna make you make an inverted cross, like the demon you.
I love that the food pyramid's not a pyramid; it's just a triangle. What's on the other sides of the food pyramid?
The other side is fitness and relationships with your mother.
But this one just says it starts with drink mostly water.
Oh, that's so great. I agree. I concur.
And then
is this Belgium?
This is Belgium, and then you have
hell yeah, Belgium, you got it.
You have this is really cool. You have fruits and vegetables at the base, and then you have what appears to be whole grains and beans, and is that an ice cube? I can't tell.
It looks like a cube of jelly to me.
But then you also have
gelatin. Maybe it's gelatin.
I think it might be. I don't know. Then you have
maybe it's a cube of gelatin.
Then you have nuts and olive oil slightly below that. Then you get into fish and milk, and then crazy, and then you get white meat and dairy and eggs. Oh man, and then they have red meat at the very bottom, saying eat less, and then as little as possible you have bacon, soda, pizza, wine. That's really interesting. So Belgium has tried to separate out. Because if you're in America, I grew up eating eating lean cuisines, Hungry Man's, and Hot Pockets. Where the hell does that fit on the pyramid? I don't recognize.
Well,
any of
that's
that.
I think that's something that they recognize.
In Belgium, that goes into as little as possible.
Not
That's
a
really
lot of-
interesting. Be like Belgium.
Be like Belgium. Capital of Belgium is?
It's probably Brussels, right?
I have a friend that lives in Belgium. Hi, Vic. I know you're not listening.
Hey Vic, I got really drunk in a Belgian restaurant bathroom once.
Yeah, I remember.
And I got locked in for like 20
And
minutes.
then you was like, s'il vous plaît, let me out, please.
J'ai besoin de l'aide, s'il vous plaît.
I remember most of your
Merci.
stories.
I know. I need to make new ones, but I don't have a lot.
You should make more memories.
I don't remember anything that happens to me anymore.
Oh,
and
is
on
that the
that
protein powder you were
note,
talking about?
yeah, you've seen it, right?
Dude, I have that in my house.
Bro, it's the best. All right, on that note, you guys get out of here. We'll stay. We'll
If you
stick
want to
around.
be featured on Opinions by Casseroles, give us a call at 833-DOG-POD1.
We got new episodes out every Wednesday. We're still doing that.
Yes,
Still doing the
Josh.
Wednesdays, and then Sundays. Check out my new shoes.
I can't put my leg up like that. Hold
Why
on.
not?
Hold on.
If you really listen to the food pyramid, you'd be doing flexibility training.
Shut
We got new episodes out on Wednesdays. That's the audio version. Then on Sundays, the video comes out over on YouTube. And if you like that, the videos, then you can stick around the YouTube channel on which they are hosted,
Do you see my socks? They say I love chocolate.
whereby
you
we
see that?
have
Do you see that?
whereby
Look
we
how
have
thick-
many other styles
look
of
how
video.
thick my is this my calves? Are these my calves?
Is that like an existential question? Like, do my calves belong to me? Do they belong to God?
Is this body part called my calves?
Yeah.
Look
Yes.
how thick my calves have gotten.
You've heard of MyPlate and MyPyramid. Now Nicole's my calves.
Oh my god. They're like crazy style.
I have very thin calves for a man of my stature.
Let me see.
It's kind of like skinny calves. And people are like, you don't
have
train
the
your calves. I'm like, you're damn right I don't.
I got fat calf disorder.
You had FCD? You down with FCD?
Yeah,
Yes, you know. NIAT. All right, on that note, I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.